Okay, so this is Rage Gaming Videos, and we've got 14 minutes of new Apex Monster Hunt and Dual Blades, Great Sword, and Bow gameplay.
Hey guys, and welcome back again to Rage Gaming and my second of some very special videos for you. In short, I played Wilds. We were invited to Gamescom to check out the game for a private session. We played one mission for roughly an hour, and then we were able to record our own footage for the next 30. Based on their requirements, we're showing specific clips of my footage around general other footage, but this time I'm focused on the weapons and combat, so do check out the other video for a general overview of everything. I was able to get footage here of Daul Blades, my main weapon, Great Sword because Josh demanded it, also finally Bow because it's looking kind of insane in Wilds. In my time I was able to fight all four of the new monsters, Valahara, Dosha, Chatacabra, and of course Daul. However, for my footage I do have some bad news.
So this must be the pro. This must be the pro. You got a lot.
I'm just going to be honest with you. We lost about 10 minutes or so of my 30 minutes of footage.
Ooh,
and I don't exactly know why or how. I cut up the recordings as I was doing them into 3 parts to prevent exactly this. As you see, as I go and encounter Ray for the first time, I decided to stop the recording there to start a new one in case anything goes wrong. If one of these files corrupts, it's better that it's just 10 minutes instead of the full 30. It all seemed fine though, and then of course that specific next 10 minutes did not survive. So I don't have my own footage of fighting Ray. Fortunately, Capcom has been doing multiple live streams every day with the devs, and there's the Japanese side of things doing that as well. So we do have footage we can look at for Ray, and I can talk to you about my experience with him. I am sorry for that though. I did everything I could to prevent that. We had multiple people checking everything was working, and yet.
What's that called? What's that law called? It's not Moore's Law. Is Moore's Law the computer science one? Yeah, okay. Whoops. It's not that one. It's anything that can go wrong will. What is that law called? Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. Yeah. That always happens at some of these. I've never been to one of these as press, obviously. This is like my first gaming channel, but I've been in similar situations in past projects, past lives, and where you're at an event, you got to interview, or you got a big presentation or something like that. Murphy's Law, the truest thing in the world. So
it still happens. In any case, this video is focused on weapons
Murphy is
combat.
my op.
So let's talk about my experience and what I've learned, maybe some stuff you might not have known. We'll start with the weapon stuff though, and since I'm a Dual Blades main, we'll start with that. In this footage, I played with Dual Blades briefly, but my main chunk of using Dual Blades was when I was fighting Ray, which is the part we lost. So I'll show my footage where I can and other suitable clips as we go. Let's talk about the base combat, which is back to world-style Dual Blades. Much more grounded than the aerial meta we saw in Rise, certainly in Sunbreak. There's a focus on attacking and moving here. Classic Dual Blade, sure.
It's so fluid, man.
Spinning slash dash to get where you need to go and attack at the same time. And so
why would Murphy even invent that? He's kind of a dick for coming up with that law and forcing it on us. Everything would go right if he didn't. It's so true.
Break, we kind of ignore the monster and just throw out a counter whenever we needed to. Here we now have the incredible special evade though. While in Archdemon or Demon mode, you simply evade right as you're about to be hit to perform the Demon Evade. This has iframes on it. It's like a perfect guard, but perfect evade, allowing you to dash in a direction while doing this spin attack. But then that leaves you in this special stance. So while we're glowing blue for a little while after that, every dash is also an attack, letting you be hyper mobile and attack at the same time while evading. It doesn't last too long, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 evades worth in a fight, long enough to be effective and working in either demon mode. I believe with this evade, you can calmly stay near a monster's wound or weak point and stick to say a head and smash it, ultimately perfect evading whenever we're going to be punished. That way we're not spinning around like a fly buzzing around the monster as much, though that does lend into easy use for that playstyle too. The timing for the perfect evade seems solid against normal monsters, but when I was trying that against Ray, it was so much harder. Against his physical attacks was no problem, but the special lightning shots and those kind of explosions, be it the weak or even the charged one, the timing on that was much less forgiving. So I do think.
So is this new? This like perfect dodge to give you the bonus thing? The earliest game that I remember like awakening me to this concept of like you do a perfect dodge at the last minute for a reward was Bayonetta with Witch Time. Did you guys ever play Bayonetta? I really like that they've added that in other games. It's new stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's like that. It's demon time though. It's demon time because you just literally go demon mode if you pull it off right. An old mechanic brought back with some spice, as far as I know. Love Bayonetta and Devil May Cry 3 through 5. Yeah, no, I loved. I still haven't played through Bayonetta 3 yet, but 2 was like blew my mind, man.
I think it's going to be less reliable and easy to send out suddenly compared to, say, the Sunbreak counterattack. But overall, I think this is better for Dual Blades with its functions and limits, and it suits Dual Blades a lot better than just a free counter. Then we have the new Demon Flurry combo, which is much better in my opinion. Demon Flurry is now a longer combo, but continuing is a 3-part combo. As usual, you press triangle and circle at the same time to activate it. Now, you get these timings to continue the combo with the same input or R2 instead for parts 2 and 3. The new part of the combo is the third and final part, which is very vertical and spinny. It looks and feels great. And this new 3-part style reminds me of the Archdemon mode from Rise, where you would continue it in parts, compared to pressing it once and being stuck in it. Here I could also move a bit during the combo for better aiming and a little bit of evasiveness. Kind of comparable to the Longsword and its new Spirit combo. Plus we can use...
Hey, wait a minute! That looks like Skull Splitter.
Pressing it once and being stuck
from Dragon's Dogma 2.
Also move a bit during the combo for...
I gotta try this, don't I? As someone who was such an avid Thief fan, Thief abuser, you might even say, in Dragon's Dogma 2.
Parts compared to pressing it once and being stuck in it. Here I could also move a bit during the combo for better...
It's giving Scarlet Kisses. It's giving Skull Splitter. Oh my goodness.
Aiming and a little bit of evasiveness.
Look at that!
To the Longsword and its new Spirit combo.
It
Plus,
is!
you can use the focus mode aiming as a handy way to aim at weak points like any focus mode. Also, again, because they've cut it into 3 parts, you could choose to do part 1 or part 2.
Just try everything again. Yeah, I guess so.
And then cut off the following parts to get out of there. Say the monster did something you didn't expect, just cancel the combo by not continuing it. That is really nice and important because
DMC 1 has the best atmosphere due to it originally going to be a RE game. I liked DMC 5 a lot. DMC 1, I did try DMC 1, but it's too old for me. It's the tank controls are crazy in that game. But it was a good vibe. It did have a good vibe.
Because the new combo, again, with that new finishing part, is a lot longer. So I think this is a really good change overall. More control and movement. I much prefer this. Not to mention the fact that we can activate Demon Mode while moving now. Not super quick, but it does mean you don't have to force yourself into the air when using Demon Mode, which is the trick we'd use to bypass that. But now let's mention Focus Mode and its special attack. This is literally just the aerial launch from Rise, which, in this case, if it hits a wounded spot, it will latch on after throwing yourself up with a grapple. Then perform a Levi spine spin. It will latch.
That was
just
so
an aerial
fluid.
launch from Rise, which in this case, if it hits a wounded spot, it will latch on after throwing yourself up with a grapple. Then perform the Levi spine spin.
That's
it didn't
amazing.
seem to work if used randomly on a normal part. Needed to be used on an active glowing wound, much like other weapon focus attacks. It'll also do the grapple part for you for the spine spin.
Levi,
meaning if you use the focus attack launch at, say, its side, you will grapple and then move sideways in the air until you're on the end of the spine to spin down it. All of this is automatic. The only part you need to...
The other move that's like Levi from Attack on Titan is the longsword. He does like a super crazy fast slash attack. It reminded me of that. I can't, not to spoil it. So, or I don't want to spoil it, but you know, there's a certain moment where Levi's doing a bunch of sword slashes. He's like, "Come out of here," or "Get out of there." It's pretty cool.
Think about is landing the launch attack on a wound directly. From there, it just does the rest for you. That's good because it kind of forces the spine spin into normal gameplay, where before, as cool as it was, there was better DPS options available in spine spinning.
I don't remember the dual blades hitting that much for me in Monster Hunter World. Like, I don't remember them feeling super interesting, but this is like a lot closer to like the momentum and the behavior of like Thief and Dragon's Dogma 2. I know it's still different, but like it's that more modern rogue style of play, you know, where it's very fluid. I kind of like it. I might have to try this.
Best to use it on bigger monsters as a way to move and attack at the same time. So wound attacks have high value, especially if you break the wound on the attack. I think this will work smoothly into proper meta gameplay, and I'm very pleased by that. But now, greatsword.
And you make the wounds by just hitting in the same spot on the monster, like several times over, and you don't have to be on. I guess the reason most of the wounds are happening when people are on the monster's back is because that's the time where you're able to just hit the same spot over and over to create a wound, I guess. Out of all weapons, Daul Blade is the weapon I've used the least. Okay. I hope Dogu catches on for a shortening to Doshiguma so we can just call it dog in an accent. Dogu. Dogu.
Getting to the meat of it, the improved aiming for charge attacks. Greatsword is obviously a charging weapon, so you need to make sure you hit those by aiming, but also by timing it right. And so aiming...
Look at that. Did you see that?
The improved aiming for charge attacks. Greatsword is obviously a charging weapon, so you need to make sure you hit those by aiming properly, but also by timing it right. And so aiming is now easier. When you're charging up attacks, you can also pull up the focus mode aiming and turn, doing a full 180 if you want to. Most of the time, it's basically just aiming for the weak spot, like the head. So instead of just kind of feeling out the aim as before, you pull out the focus mode aiming, make sure it's going where it should, and send it. It feels like a cheat code. It's so much easier. The learning curve to getting functional with Greatsword then, I think is going to be a lot easier for new players. And if you're an older Greatsword player, I can't recommend enough, try to work it into your normal gameplay. It'll make you more accurate. You're more likely to hit those weak points. So that's one thing, but...
All right, I'm saving Greatsword for this game then. Because that's... You can charge and then aim in focus mode. Oh, that's gonna be fun. I don't wanna like establish the muscle memory for it.
But then we also have the incredible new Offset Rising Slash. Offset Rising Slash is the counter of the Greatsword, triggered by pressing triangle and circle. Offset Rising Slash is the counter of the Greatsword, triggered by pressing triangle and circle at the same time. For function, you seem to need to send the attack at the monster right as it's throwing its own. So the idea is you collide with your attacks. You don't want to use it too early, obviously, or too late.
Oh, so that's a counter.
Collide with your attack. You need to send the attack at the monster right as it's throwing its own. So the idea is you collide with your attacks.
That's so cool.
You don't use it too early, obviously, or too late. The Greatsword needs to be flying up as it contacts the monster's attack at the same time. The timing on it then definitely requires a bit of skill. It's not straightforward and easy. It's not a free counter, but I think with that in mind, it's high reward and high risk, and I like that. When you successfully do it, you can follow it up with the follow-up cross slash, which can be a fast leap forward with 2 hits behind it. An awesome combo that interrupts the flow of the monster attack. Brilliant in the base of the kit of Greatsword. I also did manage to land a power clash, so here's how that works. You simply press guard right as you're about to be hit to perform a perfect guard, likely triggering a clash. This can be done with any weapon that can guard though, and it's followed up by spamming the triangle button to win the clash and force it back. After you land the clash though, that can be followed up with a new combo. In the Greatsword's case, that's a true charge slash. So yeah, it goes straight to the true charge after a clash. That's really effective. Alternatively, you could do a leaping wide slash instead for a faster non-charge follow-up, but I think that's brilliant. And then you think about clashes in general for multiplayer. It holds the monster down during the clash, leaving it still exposed. The rest of the people in your team could attack its weak points without any worry at all during that time. So if a weapon can cause clashes by guarding, I think it should, at very least in multiplayer. Lastly, let's mention...
He is making this Greatsword gameplay look absolutely delicious. Oh, man. Seems like reading monsters is more important for real. Yeah. It's like World Shoulder Tackle, but as an attack. TCS out of Clash is great. This is wild.
Mention focus mode for Greatsword. Basically, you use it against a wound to perform the focus strike. It drags the blade down the...
Dude, what if I did Greatsword and Daul Blades, the two opposite, teeny and gigantic?
Monster, dealing ticking damage and destroying the wound. This often causes a stagger. It's a fast way to deal damage with a Greatsword without having to charge up, but I do think you'd rather do like a full charge into a weak point than this, but you don't always get to do that, so it's a nice tool to have. All right, so last up was the bow, which I had the briefest time using in my recording session, unfortunately. Let's discuss the bow then. Firstly, absolutely ridiculous is this adept style evade they've got. Basically, it means right as you're about to be hit, you would evade at that moment, performing a kind of true evade. They're calling this the discerning dodge. This will provide you seemingly with all of your stamina back, or at least a chunk of it, and also that increases the new gauge they have at the bottom right. That on paper seems busted, and is currently being argued it's the strongest thing we've seen added in Wilds. It means bow never needs to stop if you've got good gameplay. We'll see how it pans out at launch, but that seems insane. Did you get some other new stuff in terms of base?
I guess so. Greatsword and Lance gonna go dumb, yeah. I guess theoretically that would be, yeah, I guess he's right. There's no, everything else you kind of have to like reposition and stuff like that, right? Eventually, but or you have to, I don't know. What do you think, Joe? Do you agree? Is this broken? I mean, Bow and Rise/Sunbreak was just as busted. Ziggy K says, I found a Reddit post with a whole list of new videos showing gameplay that you should watch. They've even denoted which videos are must-watches and for which weapon. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I'll look that up next.
This gameplay, there's this little hop you can do. You evade, then press a melee button to hop up into the air. Then you fire 5 shots in one go. A nice smooth bit of sudden burst. But the main new event is that new gauge at the bottom right. That's the trick arrow gauge. At the bottom right, you have 3 notches. Up to 3 special moves can be stored at once. You spend one of these notches on either applying a coating or a tracer arrow. Let's take the power coatings. Instead of starting with 50 and then you have to craft more as the normal awkward mechanic, we instead now charge the gauge by landing attacks or landing those discerning dodges. Then we spend one of the 3 potential notches on the gauge to generate 8 power coatings. Yes, just 8, but because you can infinitely make them, I think this is better. They work as before as a coating though, it's just a small gameplay change that I think is smoother. Now outside of the coating choices, you could instead send a tracer arrow. To do that, you hold R2, then press square at the same time with a PlayStation controller. You fire a tracer arrow wherever you like, and then arrows you fire for a while after that will be launched into that tracer.
That's pretty sick.
Even dragon piercers. That means optimal DPS
Magic Archer
is going to be easy to achieve if you place the tracer in the right weak point. Just be aware that the limit of that is that after it takes a certain amount of hits or damage, it will explode, consuming it. But I think we're going to be using a lot of the gauge on tracer arrows. There is this interesting detail around the Dragon Piercer though. There's the normal version, the Instant Dragon Piercer used during a combo, and the 1000 Dragons, which is used by pressing R2 and triangle plus circle all at once, which basically means you fire a bunch of shots off in one go.
Oh my gosh,
World, I believe. But the main thing I'm interested in is the combo of Dragon Piercers. So let's look at that. Here you can see me using focus mode, which performs the literal magic Archer Dragon's Dogma 2 lock-on, building up auto lock-on.
Whoa! He called it out. He called it out. Let's go.
Combo of Dragon Piercers. So let's look at that. Here you can see me using focus mode, which performs the literal magic Archer Dragon's Dogma 2 lock-on.
It is
auto locked on arrows. This stacks up to about 5 arrows, landing as a nice burst of damage. Then you can follow it up in combo with the fast Dragon Piercer. That's where you
it is Magic Archer. It's Magic Archer from Dragon's Dogma 2. I guess this is what they brought over from Dragon's Dogma 2. We were talking about it before. Tokidimbo had something similar. Okay.
Damage. Then you can follow it up in combo with the fast Dragon Piercer. That's where you get the meat of this from. I think this fast version of the Dragon Piercer really is the way to get it into normal gameplay. I'm not sure if it could be used through other combos or if it's just tied to the focused attack, so let me know if you know. But yeah, Bow seems insane. I think it is a strong contender for the strongest weapon in Wilds based on what we've seen. Right, now let's talk about Daul, the main threat in the quest we were playing. I'm going to talk about the mechanics, sure, but I want you to understand how much presence this monster has. The other monsters are awesome, interesting, cute even at times, but Ray is like a threat to the environment. He literally changes the weather, turning everything dark blue, forcing the clouds to roll in. Lightning strikes randomly around the region. But Daul is a Thunder Wyvern, so he will apply Thunderblight to you during the fight through those lightning attacks. And amazingly, they didn't give us any null berries to cleanse that, so it was really tough without them. Ray uses multiple lightning blasts in the fight between small pops that come out from quick combo or charge up blasts from the ground, or in the air. As you see, Ray starts with his horns separated.
Oh, look at him
then
with
goes
his
into
mouth
direct
open.
control of them by putting them together like a pole to shoot the lightning from. Also, when it does that, on the side of it, there's this electric organ that becomes exposed. So that's the clear tell that things are about to happen. The body also changes. The wings get some crystal blades and the spikes. In general, there's a lot of blue. It's hard to miss. Outside of the obvious threat, though, or maybe normal attacks, bites from the mouth, slams and sweeps with the wings, tail attacks, it might spear you with the horns. But what gets sketchy is when it uses those lightning blasts. There's this crystallization that occurs. It creates big blades on the sides of it, reminding me of like Haki in One Piece or crystal body parts in the Titans from Attack on Titan. If you're also know what I'm talking about. But in this combat, it just covers the body parts in blue crystal, enhancing them. It also naturally will fly, so you have to be ready for aerial attacks.
I didn't even notice that. That's badass.
Slices from the wings where it drags it along the floor, charged thunder shots from medium range, or just crashing down on you. Interestingly, the fight isn't always in Ray's storm. You can indeed encounter Ray in normal weather. I just wish I could have shown you my fight with it. It carted me twice because I was trying to perfect evade with the Daul Blades.
Have you guys seen the footage of Ray Daul in his nest and fighting him there? That blew me away. That was awesome. I adore that his lightning on the sand creates fulgurite. Yeah, I need to see that. Okay, I might show you. I was hoping someone else found it. Because the developer showed it off at the end in the back half of his of the stream today.
The electric blasts are massive. The fight is incredible. And I just can't wait to give it another go where, you know, I'm less focused on getting multiple weapon footage and specific clips and I can just focus on fighting it. Lastly, I just want to give you a cool couple of notes about general combat. Like, did you know about the new bomb mechanics? You can now place bombs down, but then pick them up if you place them in the wrong place.
Yeah.
It's wonderful quality of life. But you can also throw them, basically causing them to roll ahead of you a short distance and then explode on impact. That way you could secure the explosion as the wake up hit, which is just a nice feature. Mounted combat is back, but it's a lot more like World than Rise. You use aerial attacks that triggers.
You guys did right. You guys did me right. You guys didn't steer me wrong. You had me lock into World, steered me away from Rise. It seems to be the move here.
The mount potentially. From there you hold on, attack
to keep me from getting confused.
As much as you can, or just holding on when it tries to shake you off with enough damage before you.
I've always assumed he came out during the storm only. No. I'll show you. We'll react to something else afterwards. I think it deserves its own reaction, to be honest. Where you see Ray Daul way out of the storm, and it's even cooler.
You get to perform a finisher that brings the monster down for a full knockdown. Pretty standard stuff. Further, there's new environmental traps like the shifting sands whirlpool mechanic. This deals good damage and will hold the monster in place a bit. But yeah, there's just so much I could talk about. I am limited in the footage I'm allowed to use and how long these videos can be, so I'll have to leave it there. I hope this gave you new insight based on my actual experience playing the game. So once again, a massive thank you to Capcom for that opportunity. We're really looking forward to covering the game, and hopefully they do a demo again. We'll see. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been New. Thanks for watching.
Oh, I've been me. I see. Thank you.
And Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.
Okay. Well, my favorite white rapper. Oh, good. Yeah, so I mean, not much to say there beyond. I mean, good video. I like the video. I really appreciate the breakdown as a noob of some of this stuff. I think I'm gonna check out some of his videos. They seem very helpful. Daul Blades seems smooth and sleek. Bow seems like it could be broken, but I don't know if I would have that much fun playing it, but it does seem like I guess it sounds like it's going to be the broken weapon. And Greatsword just looks so delicious to play. I gotta try Greatsword. I think that's the main takeaway. Wrapping confirmed for Wilds. Of there you go. Bow's always broken, man. Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be broken, then maybe I try. Maybe is it greatsword and bow? Is that really the combo? Is that what we go for? I don't know, but I mean, they all look so good. A lot of them, they all just kind of look so good, man. Greatsword particularly, though. I think I'm locking in greatsword for me. So, but yeah, good video, great stuff.